Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back yet again to another episode. This is episode 4 of the Music Money Makeover show. As we get this thing more formatted going forward, I just want to bring in some things that we will talk about throughout the show at the top of the show. So you all can kick it with me on that. So today's topic is the grant of rights and advances in a publishing deal. All right. So I just want to make a couple announcements real quick for all my Atlanta family. This week I will be out and about. If you all have tickets to the BMI Hip Hop Awards, I will be in the building there. You can catch me at the pre-show, at the mixer, and all of that. So check me out there at the BMI Hip Hop Awards this week. Also, a good friend of mine, Nikki Monty, will be spending this week at the ATL Weekender. If you all don't know, the ATL Weekender, Memorial Day? Is it Memorial Day weekend? Is it Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day? Anyway, at the end of August, at the beginning of September, there's always an ATL Weekender. And she will be spinning house music at Moods Music on August 30th. I don't know the time slot, but I know it's from 1 to 6 p.m. There'll be a couple DJs there. All right, so BMI Hip Hop Awards, you can catch me out and about there. And then also at the ATL Weekender, you can catch me out and about in Little 5 Points in Atlanta. All right, a couple things coming up later in the stream. We'll be talking about some news topics that I think might pique your interest of all new independent artists. Pandora expands its indie artist submission tools, right? And the thing is, will this help emerging artists grow their audience? I don't know, so we'll see. Audiomack, the streaming platform Audiomack just inked its first deal with Warner Music Group. That's interesting to note. I know SoundCloud. I don't think SoundCloud has done something like that yet. But that's interesting. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And the last thing, DistroKid sent me an email this week, and they were the first to the punch. Remember last week I told you that we were talking about Syncs and CD Baby beat everybody to the punch on Instagram stories? Well, this past week, DistroKid beat everybody to the punch on TikTok. This is very interesting to me because, like I told you last week, these things on these social media platforms that come from these distributors, these deals, these are synchronization deals. I don't know how these are monetized yet, but these licenses are synchronization licenses. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. All right. So that's coming up real soon. What's going on, everybody in the building, on Instagram? I see you all, and on Facebook. Thank you all for joining in. All right, so let's jump right into it, you guys. The grant of rights and advances in a publishing deal. So the one thing that writers and producers that you all need to understand is that when you grant someone rights in a publishing deal, you grant them the actual undivided copyright, okay? There's a purpose into how this works. Even some artists do this, like indie artists who kind of they've got their legal team together. They will take in the publishing so that they can divvy it out. I don't necessarily like that. I've seen it happen. I know some people that have done that. I would rather a publishing company do this. The reason for this is because imagine you have a song where everybody has a piece of it, okay? A piece of the publishing. However, nobody really knows what to do with the publishing besides just get their money. And nobody exploits anything beyond what the song is. And people always fight over publishing all the time. But when you go and you do a deal with a publisher, right, you're going to have to give over the publishing copyright, the entire copyright to the song so they can exploit it. Doesn't mean you're not going to get your percentage. But what I'm saying is they're going to do all the division, all the dividing up of all the funds and all the allocating and all of the financial stuff. This is what you're giving them their percentage for, and for further exploitation. All right. So just to get that now this will change, but this is the start of what you're granting. You're granting that undivided copyright of the song to the publisher. Okay. Now, when you grant these rights, you're going to grant worldwide rights. Okay. It's going to happen with most writers. Some writers and some writer artists may choose to keep their publishing rights in their local territories and seek other sub-publishers in different territories. Okay. Let's say you're dealing with a publisher who is very strong in the States. You might not want to deal with a publisher who doesn't have much experience overseas other than just collecting. All right. So let's say if, I think like 2 weeks ago, I was saying I had a single that I've been putting underneath my videos that was doing well in Germany. Right. So if I wanted more exploitation in Germany, I would go hire a sub publisher in Germany. Right. Because it would make more sense. I wouldn't get a U.S. publisher unless they were, to exploit my records in Germany, if I could just go get a German publisher. All right. This is just a little bit for some more advanced people, but this is, this is what's going on here. Now, this is outside of the CD Baby stuff we were talking about last week and everybody who signs up for these distributor sync publishing agreements where they don't do anything. They just take your money and collect for you, and your stuff sits on the shelf. This is outside of that. We're talking about, hey, look, I'm doing some numbers. I want to go get a publisher, a real publisher, and get some business done. Okay? You want to kind of ask them, hey, what's your, overseas relationships like with people over there? Can you get the job done overseas, or do you only collect? I mean, so sometimes collection may be all that you need because your song is doing so well, and as things become more and more global, it's going to boil down to the point where once you start promoting it, then it just goes all over the world. So I just want to put that in your ear, okay? So now, when we talk about granting these rights, in the beginning of it, I say, okay, we're going to grant the undivided right to the copyright. But let's say if we never put a term on it, then the undivided copyright would be for the life of the song plus 50 years. Sometimes, but not all the time. But if you just left it at that, it would be for the life of the song. Okay, we know that for sure. Statute of limitations, United States government, for the life of the song. The way you change that is you add the term. All publishing contracts have it, but if someone slips something your way and it doesn't have a term attached to it, that's what that is. And a lot of times these contracts do not have legal jargon in it. It's just you have to know things like statutory rates, the statute of limitations, all of this stuff. If it is not said, doesn't mean it's confusing. It's just not in there. And they purposely don't put certain things in these. All right. So let's introduce a term to this. Okay. So term, unless the publishing deal has terms. Now these terms, they specify the time that you must understand and that the term will be for. Okay. So, and it'll be for the life of the copyright, like I said. Okay. But we can change that. Let's say we make this term 2 years, which is very short. Can't really do much with 2 years, but that's the minimum that a publisher will ask for when you start negotiating. Okay, so, and you want to find this term right underneath the grant, or it may be right above the grant. That's even better. That lets you know that they at least have some of your best interests at heart. Okay, so this term will either be on a song basis or it will be on a time basis. Okay, so let's say you do a publishing deal and it's only for 6 songs. Okay, so how a publishing deal works is, like I said, the undivided copyright. So if you sign a publishing deal, but yet you write with a lot of people, understand you need 600% of a song, or to fulfill your duties. So let's say you write a song and you get 25%. Right? And let's say you do a quarter of every song that you write. That means you would need to write on 24 songs to fulfill your song agreement. 100%. That's what every deal that's based on songs is based off of. Now, if you do it based on time, then it will be the songs that you write underneath that term. All right? So let's say if you do it for a 5-year term, it'll be the songs that you write under the 5-year term. All right. And that's your obligation to the contract. Okay. Now, let's bring the power back to the writer, because the publisher just gave us our term and they gave us our grant. Well, they said, well, this is what you will grant to us. All right. But let's bring in let's bring in the writer, right? So I'm going to slow it down now. So this next thing, the root of this word comes from the word revert, right? You may see it if you're typing a Word document or something like that. Your publishing deal will revert, or your copyright will revert back to you upon a certain set number of conditions, okay? So this clause is called a reversion clause, all right? Now, reversion serves as a means to circumvent the term, all right? For example, if the song is not released commercially in a certain amount of time, the copyrights can revert back to you, all right? Now, this is where it gets funky. You may say that, all right, let's say you don't exactly exploit the song within 24 months, which is 2 years, or sometimes 18 months, or you don't get it to a recording artist within that time period, or you don't get it, released. Release is a very difficult thing to do when you're coming in as a writer and you haven't had any placements. It's different if you have, and people have heard your name floating around as a songwriter before you got this publishing deal. But that's what a reversion clause is. If this said publisher doesn't do anything for you in set amount of time or during your term, your copyright can revert back to you. All right? Everybody has to have ins and outs in this thing. If you're not at the point where you can negotiate the ins and outs for both parties, chances are you probably don't need to be doing a publishing deal yet. You got to get out there. You got to work your records, work your beats, songs, whatever it is, get more leverage, and then go get some big boy money, okay? But don't come in when you're at a place and you can't really negotiate this clause. This is very important to you, all right? And to them. Now, you don't want to, as an artist, you don't want to get stingy with this, okay? You don't want to say, all right, so you got a year to get my song placed, and if you don't, I get it back, and the deal is null and void. You can't do that. You have to give the publisher enough incentive to actually want to work your record, all right? If you don't give someone enough skin to work your record, they're not going to want to do business with you anyway, okay? Chances are, as a new writer coming in and you're signing this publishing deal, chances are they're going to say, hey, most of this is going to be non-negotiable for you. We're not going to budge on any of this because we don't see how, you bring such an X amount of dollars of revenue to the table from the jump. We're going to have to do a lot of work to get your songs placed. So don't come at us for these out of control reversion clauses, all right? So I just want you all to be, that reversion clause is the main thing that as an artist you want to focus on. Actually, all three of them, the grant, what you're going to give, the term, how long it's going to take to get or recuperate whatever it is you give, and then the reversion clause. When will it come back and how will it come back to you? All right? So now, let me step in the publisher's shoes, and I want to say this. Now, as a publisher, in all fairness, they can say that, hey, look, a release can mean we either get it synced, we either get you a public performance of the song that doesn't necessarily have to be a recording. We could have someone perform your song live or something like that. We could do that. Or we could just have it recorded by a commercial artist. Doesn't even have to come out. We got it placed. Understand, a placement doesn't necessarily mean that it has to come out. Okay? So, I just want you to take these things into an account when you're doing deals with publishers. All right? So, now, let's keep going. All right? Like I said, publishers need this time to get these works placed and promoted. All right, so don't look for your songs to always be exploited quickly. Now, these time frames can go back and forth, as I was saying, as like a battle, between you all. But don't dig on that. Don't just keep beating it, when beating the publisher when they're like, hey, look, we're not budging. If you don't agree to these terms, then there's the door. You can walk. And that's really what they're going to give you when you're just starting out. A lot of times you all can actually, if you have songs that are really good, you're really taking your time to work on your craft, then coming in, getting a deal off of the strength of the song being great. Let's say you find a great producer to work with and you write amazing songs, but yet you live in Idaho, right? And chances are you moving to LA, New York, or Atlanta, really, or Nashville, it's kind of slim to none while you're just getting started. I'd probably seek a publishing deal because they could get your songs recorded and then get you in the studio, where it would make your trip to a LA and New York or Nashville a lot more worth your while, right? I'd seek that because you living in Idaho or Montana or South Dakota or whatever like that, it's just very difficult for you to just hop out and go. Okay? All right, so look, it's going to be kind of quick today. I want to jump into these news articles, but we got to cover advances, all right? So this is going to be an ongoing thing, the publishing contract. I want you all to just keep that in mind. For the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be going over the publishing contract. We'll be going deep into it because I want to make sure you all have this game for your brain, all right? I want to make sure you all are thoroughly understanding what it is you're getting into when you're doing these deals, all right? So let's clear up what an advance actually is. Check this out. Advances are a lump sum payment that is recoupable, okay, by the publisher from future royalty earnings from the writer. I'm going to read that again so you understand what it is. Advances are a lump sum payment that is recoupable by the publisher from future royalty earnings from the writer. Now that you get that, I know that most of you understand that you have to pay an advance back, okay? And it's based off royalties. Most people have that. What they don't understand is and it's like when you hear people like Kanye saying, hey man, I got all the money, I want to buy my masters back, or like De La Soul 2 weeks ago saying that, hey, look, we want to release our masters. And De La Soul saying that there's not a master buyback program or something like that on the books at Tommy Boy Records. Okay? An advance is non-returnable, which means you can't just pay your debt back out of pocket. All right? It is only if you negotiate that into the contract. If you don't negotiate the fact that, hey, look, my advance should be returnable, it may have to be based on, let's say, after you do so much in sales or in numbers that if you get close to your recoupable amount, that you can return the advance. Hopefully you don't take so much up front in your deal that you cannot negotiate that clause in and saying, hey, look, I want to return this, okay? Because if you do a deal for like $250,000, it may take a while for that money to come back to you, okay? To understand that. All right, record deals, like I said, are done pretty much the same way. They do not offer this. You have to negotiate this. So this is something that's kind of off record or off the books, but you'd only have to know about it if you've been there. Because if I got some money from a bank, I surely could walk in and pay it back. So I don't understand that if I get a contract, why I can't pay it back. It's just to let you all understand. I'm being unethical here because I'm a publisher, but I just want you all to understand that because you can't pay it back out of your pocket, you want to keep debt on the books. That's how you hold a song, okay? Because after you recoup, then everybody starts generating funds together. And it's only when someone wants to be a douche about it after they take the promotion that they want to, you don't really want to pay back. You just let it collect, and when you recoup, you're good. Because when you come paying back and saying, hey, look, let's kick in this reversion clause because I paid it back, then you lose exploitation and you burn a relationship with your publisher. So it's a very fine line that you gotta move carefully on when it comes to trying to negotiate the fact that I want to return my advance when I get close to the period. All right. So I would say I would negotiate something. This is interesting. I would negotiate the fact that, let's see, what would I would negotiate, let's say if I get within the 10% range of recouping my money or recouping my advance, let me pay it out of pocket so we can go ahead and start collecting royalties going forward. I would do something like that. That's agreeable for both parties. Okay, so let's say if we do a $250,000 deal, and I get to the point of $2,500 left, let me pay the $2,500 off, and then we can all start splitting money accordingly, the right way. Okay. All right. So I want to say this. Your composition must have immediate value or a high potential value in order for an advance to be triggered. All right? This is very important for you all to understand. If you're coming in and you don't have any leverage and you want an advance, you're probably not going to get an advance. It just is what it is, okay? So, more often than not, you won't be getting any advance for a starting or average writer in a publishing venture. Writers who want a quick reversion clause run the risk of reducing their advance. Okay, so if you wanted to come back to you, you're going to say, well, hey, look, let's take this advance down a notch. I think that 250 is a little too much for me. You may want a smaller deal, but if we go back to the beginning of the stream, this is when I said that you want to have an advance that works for you, but you also want to give the publisher incentive to work. So that's like if you give somebody free product, right? The value in the free product let's say if you're in the mall and the Chinese people are giving out free samples, right? That orange chicken has to be good. That's the value in the free product, okay? Has to be good to you, which means that, okay, if the publisher is going to give out this deal, then they must feel, and I feel like they're doing great with all their other writers that they have, then I feel like there may be some value there, and that's enough incentive for them to work my record. Yeah, kind of, but when they offer you the money up front, they want to get their money back. This is when you can kick in starting at about $500 a song. Let's say you do a 6-song deal. You had no placements, but you have great songs. Let's say we want to do 500, and then we want to do about 6 songs. Let's say they give you three grand for those 6 songs, and then you do the deal like that. They're gonna say, all right, cool, $3 grand. Now this is a small publishing house. This is not a major. You're gonna get 50 grand off the bat from like a Sony ATV. This is the introductory publishing deal from major labels are about 50 grand. Okay, but for a small publishing house, 3 grand can do the trick. They may be a lot more hungrier than a bigger publishing house. And 3 grand, believe you me, if they give you $3,000, they want their money back. Okay. So now, if you do an agreement with the publisher, and let's say the advance is $500 a song, they will do something called cross-collateralizing. Okay? So everybody who's read All You Need to Know About the Music Business, you know about this. I think this is in chapter 3 or 4. There's like a picture of the 2 water towers and one's outweighing the other. I just had to explain to somebody a few weeks ago what cross-collateralization was. And so basically, from a publisher standpoint, what that's going to mean is, let's say they give you $3,000 and one song starts to kick off, right? That one song will have to take care of the debt for the rest of the songs, which means that, let's say none of the other songs got placed, but they have a $500 debt on them, then all $3,000 out of the 6 songs has to be taken care of from the one song that actually gets placed. Because songs don't just get boom, 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 get placed all the time. This is a good and a bad thing. If your advance is high, then you want to get rid of the cross-collateralization. If your advance is low enough, then you will keep the cross-collateralization. All right? So $3,000 off of one song to pay for all 6 is not a bad deal. I'd say, all right, yeah, I'll do that. That one song will take care of the debt. If it blows up and becomes a hit, they got the $3,000 back. You all are just splitting money now. You're just splitting your royalties, which is good. You cleared the books on the other song. However, here's the thing. You might have cleared your advance so you could take care of your royalties. But you still have to get 6 songs placed. Now understand, like I said in the beginning, 6 songs means 100% of a full copyright. So all your co-writes and all this other stuff, those 6 songs could mean 24 songs if you're writing and you're getting a quarter of the copyright. See how that works? You may get your money, you may pay the advance back, and you all start splitting royalties, but on the song deal, you still have to take care of your obligations. So you want to make sure, and look, even if you're writing the song, you're not going to get more than 50%. So you're going to have to write 12 and get 12 songs placed, okay? And then have them cross-collateralized, which meaning that they all are responsible for each other to fulfill your agreement in the deal. Drop me some questions in the comment section if I lost you. I don't want to lose you, but drop some questions if you don't understand what I'm saying. Okay? These top 3 clauses in the deal are what's going to take care of the entire deal. All the indemnifications and the samples and all that crap, that's at the bottom of the contract. The first 3 paragraphs will take care of the entire contract. And this is what I'm talking to you today about. All right? So now, let's see. I don't want to lose my place in my notes. I know last week I said these notes would have been up, but last week was a crazy week because the video didn't record and just a lot of stuff got out of whack. But these will be up. And what I'll do for you guys is I'll put the notes up along with the articles that I'll be talking about. Okay? So now, so let's say we cleared up the cross collateralization and we took care of the advances. All right. So let's go in and let's actually, that is my portion. That's funny. I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, that's my portion. You guys understand? I really want to make sure that I bring you the best, the very best in this knowledge that I can. And I go hard to find this information, okay? And to research it and to dig it out and make sure it is as on point as it can be. Okay? So let's get into some news. Let's get into the fun segment. And I think you're really all gonna like this stuff. Alright, so Pandora expands its indie artist submission tools, but will this help emerging artists grow their audiences? Alright? This is one thing I saw and I was like, okay, this is cool. Pandora is pretty cool. I like what they do with what they've already been doing with some of the independent artists I work with. They pay out pretty nicely. I like Pandora because if their system approves your stuff, then your royalties can add up way faster than, let's say, Apple Music or Spotify and all that, because it just stays in rotation. So if people don't skip your song and it keeps it in rotation, you'll keep getting paid. All right. So now, it's what's happening here is that Pandora is now introducing a suite of analytics. Everybody has analytics going on. I'm like, cool. It's better. Pandora never used to offer you anything, but the analytics is great. I love the fact that they're going to offer that. And I feel like every platform should have access to the analytics. Now at this point, with every platform giving access to their analytics, it's starting to give these distributors a run for the money. Transparency is on the way for everybody. Here's one thing I want you to understand. Now, in this article, one thing that they said, wow, I didn't even know that. Pandora expects a steady stream of about 1,000 submissions per week. The computer is going through this, to my knowledge. Their computer is sorting out what your song sounds like. This is part of the Music Genome Project. Okay? So it's not necessarily people. All right? But here's one thing that I found interesting. And like I told you last week, Spotify is working on a beta version or alpha version, I don't know how software engineers do it, but they're going to put stories into Spotify. That was last week. This week, Pandora jumps in and it says that the AMP analytics app thing, it says it also allows for indie artists to create artist audio messages and Pandora stories. I told you all it was coming. I told you all that they would eventually bring the artist closer to the platform where the music lies. Because in all honesty, most artists don't really want to, they really want to write their records, promote their records. You come to their shows. Most artists we really don't want to be on social media giving out, just having to do everything, and we really just want you to listen to the music. Now, granted, social media isn't going anywhere in the terms of these platforms. I feel that it will fade away at some point, but at least it will put people closer to what it is they do. Okay? But like I said last week, the stories thing, they're going to bring artists closer to the music. Music artists. So when you want to know what's going on with the artist, you'll be right there on the platform that you normally listen to. So here's what I foresee. After everybody giving their platform a social function, there will soon be one network that will put all of your stories on every network. There will be one unified social network for all of the platforms. It will be like a distribution service. You will put your stories there, your videos there, and it will go. And the distributors might actually do it. It might get done through the distributors that distribute to these services. I would like to see that. I think that this is pretty cool because with Pandora offering these stories and Spotify offering the stories and the audio messages and all this, it's going to become a lot to jump on every platform, and there has to be an aggregate for that. Hopefully it doesn't come through the distributors and something like an Anchor comes along that can handle this. That actually would be cool because Spotify bought Anchor 2 weeks ago for $300 million. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how this develops. All right. So let's jump into another thing here. Got two more before I get out of here. AudioMac inks its first major label licensing deal with Warner Music Group. All right. Now, let me tell you what I like about this. This is something that SoundCloud didn't do. SoundCloud got investment from different investors to not only keep it open, but to monetize it and try to compete with streaming platforms. AudioMac didn't do that. Now, AudioMac and SoundCloud came out back in the day, like 2012. SoundCloud probably was like out in 2010-ish or 2008-ish, something like that. They're the OGs on the independent streaming block. But AudioMac comes out, and this is after Dat Piff had been in the world doing mixtape stuff. And AudioMac say, hey, look, we're a better server for mixtape stuff. I don't even know who still uses Dat Piff or even if it's still around. But AudioMac started growing, number one, because their user interface looked way better. And then number two, it's just the fact that they work so closely with a lot of people in the industry to get their projects there or their mixtapes there, just like Dat Piff did, but they just did it in a better way. But with AudioMac doing this deal with Warner Music, it serves as a funnel so that independent artists can distribute free stuff, promotional stuff, and then they can also get it promoted on that platform and get paid for promotional stuff. Okay? SoundCloud has it where you can get paid for promotional items as well. Okay? But this is very interesting. Very interesting here. Because with them serving as an upswing into the Warner label system, I foresee AudioMac being a place where Warner Music will use this for all free promo stuff. I predict stuff like promotional runs of when an album is getting ready to come out. They will put out a single at 24 hours. 24 hours, you'll have a chance to listen to it, or like promo will be like at a 6-hour run on the front page. Everybody run the AudioMac and check it out. 6 hours, boom, and they take it off. Or something, I don't know, just something. This will be like when they used to send out free material for promo for DJs and all that. This will be Warner's platform for that. I foresee this happening with that. And so I got a couple calls to make on this deal because I know people who are closely associated with folks who work at Audio Mac. So I will make a call. I want to see what's going on here to find out how they plan for that to work. All right. Because the way the press release came out, it said that the service is a terrific addition to our ecosystem, opening up exciting avenues for our emerging artists to directly engage an active audience thirsting for new music. All of the new early adopters. I think that Audio Mac will serve as the ultimate promotion place for Warner Music. Warner Music is on its way to becoming the head honcho yet again, and they will wear the crown because of the moves that they're making. I see it. Like Sony Music is behind Warner because Sony merged, at the top of August, their publishing and their label division. Warner had already done that 2 months prior, and if they keep making moves like this at Warner will be a great place to be. All right? So I think this Audio Mac and Warner merger licensing deal is awesome. All right. Last thing I want to mention here is, let's get some news. Here's the thing. I got an email from DistroKid. All right. TikTok. TikTok is the hottest platform going, hands down, right now for organic reach and growth on a social media platform. All right. It used to be Musical.ly, but now it's TikTok. I got an email direct from DistroKid because I distribute through them for some projects about TikTok and putting your music on TikTok. They beat CD Baby and TuneCore to the punch for putting your music on TikTok. Now, this is a synchronization license because you're syncing music to picture on TikTok, okay? I don't know how that's going to work, like I said earlier in the stream, but I feel like there will be some licensing fee from TikTok. It's not going to be a high licensing fee, but it can be monetized. This is a way that I feel like if deals like this keep happening, like with CD Baby, TuneCore, and DistroKid on Instagram, and then DistroKid hops in and does a deal with TikTok, I feel like as videos go viral, and as ad revenue is there, it provides a place for a synchronization license. And then as they go viral, they pick up spins, and then you pick up dollar amounts like YouTube. And instead of shutting the video down and you're not getting any money, at least you'll get some money. And YouTube used to like to shut the video down, but they don't do that anymore. Okay? But DistroKid being the first to TikTok I think it's just the dopest thing. Okay, all right. So let me jump into it real quick before we get out of here. Let's see. DistroKid founder Philip Kaplan says indie artists have been asking for TikTok integration for months. DistroKid looks like the first indie music distribution platform to offer support for the emerging platform. So I'm gonna say, let's see. Let me see any other interesting things here. Let's see. TikTok opened a special channel for users to submit their music through the TikTok Spotlight portal. Until the DistroKid integration, the TikTok Spotlight was basically the only way to feature indie content in the app. Now with DistroKid on board, TikTok submissions have grown a tad simpler. Okay? See, as these platforms begin to develop, like I said, you will see, like I said in the first article about Pandora and the stories, and last week with Spotify and their stories function that they're working on, you'll probably be going through your distributor to put all your content directly on the platform. I think that this is going to be, the way the music industry is going, it's going to be incredible. There is going to be another boom in music. Okay, but you have to be first on it, and you have to take advantage. Don't sit back and say, let me see how it goes. Just step in and taste the tea or taste the Kool-Aid, whatever it is, sip it, whatever, I don't know. But check it out. All right, TikTok Spotlight highlights original content to be promoted in TikTok's featured playlist. Musicians who upload via Spotlight are also verified and feature a unique badge on their profiles. TikTok unveiled that program in South Korea back in March. You have to stay on top of this stuff, guys. Like, it's not going to slow down at all. I suggest you stay on top of your music news, stay on top of what's happening and what's important to you and the business that you have as an independent artist. Don't sit back and think that, I'm just going to do my thing and I'm going to be independent and I have my audience. No, keep building. Try different things. Get your feet out here. Get your legs out here. Stay abreast on what's going on. Keep your ear to the streets. And if you're older, see what your children are doing. See what platforms they like and see how it can help you and your music. If you're younger, you need to be trying everything you can out here. All right? At the end of the day, the name of the game is attention. And that's what you're trying to get. And you're trying to get it at the cheapest possible rate you can. All right? So look, hey y'all, it's been a short show today. If anybody has any questions, drop them in the comment section. But let me give you my announcements again. Like I said, this Thursday I will be at the BMI Hip Hop Awards here in Atlanta. They will be honoring Brandy, and I think Uncle Luke will be getting something as well. I'm not sure. I will be there. Mix with me at 6 p.m. at the BMI Hip Hop Awards. Meet me by the bar. You won't miss what I'm wearing. It will be extravagant. All right. And also this weekend at the ATL Weekender, catch Nikki Monty spinning house music live at Moods Music on August 30th, somewhere in the time frame of 1 to 6 p.m. I don't know what the time is, but you can catch her there. All right. And also, I'm still waiting on the details, but you can catch me at Ponce City Market speaking on September 19th at the Fresh and Local Songwriter Social Panel. All right. Thank you all for joining the stream. This is episode 4 of the Music Money Makeover Show. I will see you all next week at 8:30 p.m. sharp. And until then, you all can check out the recaps throughout the week as I post them. And the notes finally this week, you will find these notes online. I know last week was a bit of a hiccup, but you will find these notes online. All right? Until next week, I will see you all later. Peace, good night, sayonara, all that stuff. All right?